Welcome to the How Good It Can Get podcast, where we dive deep into the transformative journey from surviving to thriving. Join me, your host, Andrea Rice, on this empowering exploration of mindfulness, spirituality, and unlocking your full potential. Let me show you just how good it can get. Hello and welcome back to How Good It Can Get. I am your host, Andrea Rice, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Listeners all across the globe, I want to thank you for taking time to listen to whether it was one episode, all the episodes, or this is your first time here. Thank you and welcome. Every expansion you crave, calm, confidence, love, purpose, peace, happiness, all of that sits on the other side of something your body has learned to avoid: fear. Today, we're talking about fear, what it really is, why it fuels anxiety, and why everything you want exists beyond it. Fear feels powerful because it was designed to be. Deep in your brain lives a structure called the amygdala. And it has one simple job: keep you alive. When your brain perceives a threat, real or imagined, the amygdala fires instantly, and I mean instantly, before logic or thought can even kick in. Within milliseconds, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, blood rushes to your muscles, digestion, immunity, and higher reasoning all shut down. This is the fight or flight response, and we're all familiar with it. And we all know that originally this system evolved to protect humans from predators, starvation, and any kind of immediate physical danger. But the problem is your nervous system does not distinguish between a lion and a difficult conversation at work, between physical danger and emotional discomfort, between survival and uncertainty. To your body, rejection, failure, even being seen or stepping into the unknown all register as a threat. So let's talk about the chemistry of it for a minute. When fear activates, your body floods with cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Short bursts of cortisol can be useful, but chronic cortisol, that's where anxiety is born. Elevated cortisol keeps the nervous system on high alert. It disrupts sleep. It increases overthinking and makes the brain hyper-focus on what could go wrong. And at the same time, fear suppresses activity in the prefrontal cortex. And that's the part of the brain that is responsible for reasoning, perspective, and decision-making. That's why fear feels irrational. Fear hijacks the system that allows you to think clearly. And when fear never turns off, anxiety takes over. And here's the distinction. Fear is a response to a perceived threat now, right now. Anxiety is fear projected into the future. Anxiety is what happens when the nervous system stays stuck, preparing for danger that never arrives. It's the body living in a constant state of anticipation, bracing, scanning, and waiting. Waiting for the next shoe to drop, waiting for the next mistake, waiting for something to go wrong. That's why anxiety feels so exhausting. It's because your body is working overtime to protect you from a future that hasn't even happened. And from an energetic perspective, fear is the lowest vibration. Fear is contraction. It narrows perception. It collapses awareness inward. It tells the body, stay small, stay guarded, don't take risks. You cannot create from survival mode. You can only protect. When the nervous system is locked in fear, creativity shuts down. Intuition goes quiet. Healing slows. Any kind of connection feels unsafe. This is why fear feels heavy, dense, low. It's because it keeps you anchored to what's familiar, even when what's familiar is hurting you. Fear doesn't ask, is this aligned? Fear asks, is this safe? And safety to a dysregulated nervous system often means staying exactly where you are, even if that's not where you want to be. And here's the lie that fear tells. Fear presents itself as protection, but most of the time, it's not actually protecting you from a real danger. It's protecting you from growth. Fear says, what if I fail? What if I'm judged? What if I'm rejected? What if I'm seen? And because humans evolved to survive in tribes, rejection once meant exile, and exile meant death. And your nervous system still remembers that. So fear convinces you that staying stuck is safer than expanding, even when staying stuck costs you your peace. And I know this isn't theoretical because I've lived it. There was a time in my life when fear completely hijacked my nervous system. When my marriage came to an end, my body went into full survival mode. My heart was constantly racing. My thoughts were spiraling. I couldn't see more than a few inches in front of me emotionally. I couldn't look past the current moment I was in. I just couldn't see beyond it. Fear told me I was unsafe. Fear told me I had lost everything. Fear told me this was the beginning of the end. But looking back, what was actually happening was the beginning of something better. It wasn't the end. But I couldn't see that at the time because fear collapses your ability to think clearly, to see a future, to visualize and manifest what you want. At the time, my nervous system wasn't responding to reality. It was responding to a perceived threat, the uncertainty, the identity loss, being alone, being seen differently. My body was flooded with stress hormones, trying to protect me from a future it was convinced would be painful. But this is what I've learned looking back. Everything meaningful in my life, the happiness I have now, the peace I have, the clarity, the work I do, the way I feel every day when I wake up in the morning, grateful, happy, all of that exists because I moved through that fear instead of obeying it. The fear wasn't a stop sign, it was a doorway. And once my nervous system learned safety again, I didn't just rebuild my life. I created one better than I had before. That's why I know this is true. All of the best things in life are on the other side of fear. Fear sits at the doorway of every meaningful expansion because growth feels unsafe to a nervous system trained for survival. Fear isn't meant to be a stop sign, it's meant to be a checkpoint. And the moment we understand this, fear loses its authority. Because fear doesn't mean stop, fear means something new is about to be born. You overcome fear by teaching your body that it's safe to be here, even while expanding. When the nervous system learns regulation, cortisol decreases, the prefrontal cortex comes back online, the body exits survival mode, capacity increases, clarity increases. This is why real transformation isn't about just mindset alone. It's about retraining the nervous system. And just like we learned to protect ourselves from these threats and the projection of future anticipated threats that may never arrive, we can also retrain the nervous system to calm, peace, and clarity. Small, consistent moments of safety reshape the brain's fear response. That's how we rewire to unwind anxiety. That's how we increase our vibration. That's how fear releases its grip. Fear is not our enemy. It's just a doorway. Anxiety is not who we are. It's just what happens when fear runs the system for too long. If there's only one thing that I want you to take away from this today, it's that fear is not necessarily a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something new is trying to emerge. Fear only feels powerful because your nervous system is trying to protect you, but protection and expansion don't live in the same place. Calm and clarity do not come from survival mode. A high, happy vibration where you can manifest the life you want does not live in the same place as fear, anxiety, and contraction. So the next time that you feel fear and anxiety start to well up, when the overthinking starts, when the heart starts to race, take a moment and just pause, because creativity, clarity, joy, all of the things that we truly want out of life, they don't live in the same place as fear. They live on the other side of it.
You've been listening to the How Good It Can Get podcast. Remember, the power to transform your life is within you. So stay mindful, stay empowered, and keep embracing how good it can get.